Welcome. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make a merchant in Skyrim. So as always, go to File, Data, and make sure you have at least Skyrim selected. I already have it done, so I'm going to click Cancel. Next is we would go over to our object window and we have to look up a chest. Now you can either do this by searching chest, which there's going to be way too many ones for you to search through, and you're probably going to have trouble finding the model for the actual chest. So I recommend doing is typing in WE merchant chest, and you select that and you duplicate it, and then you right click and you go to edit. Now you just change its ID to whatever you want it to be called in the object window, and then you can change its name as well, which will be the name that will show up in game. But you do not have to change the name because it will most likely be sitting out of the player's view. And then we go to the item list over here, and we do new, and this is how you add objects to your merchant. So you can select any item in here for any item in the game, and have that. I recommend doing the leveled items, which means it will get stronger as your player gets stronger, so you can continuously use this merchant over and over. So what you need to do is to search for L item, and anything with L item in front of it is a leveled item. They even have leveled enchanted items. Another cool thing is instead of going through this whole search process every time looking it up, you can just click on the one that you just made and click new, and it starts you in that object list right where that one left off. So it makes it very easy to quickly add a bunch of things right in the list. You can change how many of them it will spawn in the chest. That doesn't mean that it'll always have 13 of one certain object. It'll start to generate a bunch of objects, and then once it generates a new one, it'll go to that. So if you preview, you can see here that some of them are 2s, some of them are 1s. So as you can see, it has the value, the health, the object's name. So once you've done this, you are all set, and once you are happy with what's in your chest, click OK. Click No because we duplicated. We don't want to create a whole separate one, so then yes. Alright, next thing we have to do is place our chest. You can either do that in the outside world, Tamriel, or in the interior. I'm going to do mine in Tamriel, just outside of Riverwood, at 3-12. And I already made a merchant previously just to make sure that it did in fact work. So as you can see, the chests are usually underneath everything, so that the player cannot just pick the lock and get everything that the merchant's selling for free. It'd be a little more realistic, but that's how we're doing it. Where did my chest go? There it is, in the water. Alright, so drag this down. And once we have it placed far enough underneath so that we know that they won't get to it, we are all set. Alright, the next thing we need to do is make our own faction for it. So we're going to clear our filter. And we're going to go to the characters tab and go down to faction. And now you can right click on any of them and do new. And once it comes up, you just give it the ID that you want it to be called in the object window, what Skyrim will know it by. I'm just going to call my new faction, and then you can name, give it a name, or don't give it a name. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so in the vendor window, make sure you have vendor checked off. The start and end hours, 0 to and 24 means all the time. Go into here, and I usually use near self, so that he will always sell when he is near himself. In the general tab, make sure that you have can be owner checked off. And going back to the vendor tab here, if you select reference in render window and you double click on whichever chest that you want to assign your merchant, and then the last thing you have to change is the vendor buy and sell list. Don't do anything that doesn't have the word vendor in front of it, otherwise it won't work. If you want them to buy and sell anything, you do vendor items miscellaneous, and then you check the not sell by box beneath it. Once you're done, click OK. I've already made it, so I'm going to click cancel. Alright, now I need to make my actual merchant, the actual character. So I'm going to go to Actors, Actor, right click, and do New. It doesn't matter which one you do. So once it comes up, once again, give it an ID. Give it the name that you want it to appear when you're talking to them, and then the short name will be whatever name appears when you hover over them. Make sure that unique's checked off. There's a lot of other things you can do. You can make it summonable, ghost, yada yada. There's a lot you can mess around with. I haven't tried that out yet personally, but feel free. And then over in the traits tab, you can select its race and what model it will use. You can even make a deer merchant if you wanted to. You know, it doesn't have to be a person apparently. So I'm going to make this particular one a high elf vampire and make it female. And now you can see what your character will look like if you press the preview button down at the bottom. And to give them clothes, you go over to inventory, and you can give them any outfit in the entire game. It has every single item there. I personally like the ones down at the bottom for this particular faction, and you can click on the preview checkbox again to refresh it. For some reason, it does not refresh on its own. So there's a lot other things here. You have AI data, AI packages, keywords, stuff like that, spell lists. There's a lot you can set for your character to do. But for now, all you have to worry about is factions. So you're going to add 2 of them. First, right click, do new, and add the faction that you created. So mine was new faction, so I'm going to add that one. And then I'm going to right click and do new again. And this time I'm going to type merchant, and I'm going to add the job merchant faction. And that job merchant faction, what it does is it pretty much tells the character that its job is a merchant, and that's pretty much the only thing it's supposed to be doing. So in the AI data, it's the only one I've really messed around in a whole lot. It's not necessary for a merchant, but you can change some interesting stuff in there. And then the combat gets a little funny too. Apparently you can give it any type of combat. So you can have a rabbit merchant that fights like a bear or something like that. But I'm just going to leave it default and I'm not going to mess with anything else. If you go over on this, you can go to the character gen parts, and that's how you customize your character more to make it have the exact look you want. For now, just click OK. Once you've done that, we need to add them in. I'm going to put it right next to my other guy here. So you just type into the filter whatever you named your character, and then you just drag them in. And that's all you have to do to make it. Everything should be set up. As long as you did the other two parts right. So now you just have to go to File and Save. And once that's done, we go into in-game. Alright, let's go see if they're there. Sorry for the choppiness in this video. I had to use Fraps for this part, and for some reason it was weighing down my computer today. And as you can see, they are both here. We got Sergeant over here in his goofy looking bear outfit. And it looks like you can sell to him. And he has all of these weapons for sale as well. He's got some clothes for sale. And as you can see, you can get random stuff. So you can get, you know, legendary items right off the bat and make them really, really good. And let's go over here to the one I just made, Kaylin. And it looks like you can also buy from her. Oops, I accidentally hit back. There we go. Yep, and as you can see, we can buy from her. Alright, thank you guys. Hopefully I will have more videos coming out soon.